Okay, seeing it that it's now just after 7 o'clock, why don't we kick things off here? So, like I said just a little bit a while ago, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for attending tonight's live stream. This is the next installment of the Trent Advantage live stream series. Tonight's presentation is going to be focusing in on nursing alternate offers and exploring what those alternate offers mean and how students can utilize those alternate offers in order to then reapply and go into the nursing program at Trent. So my name is Zack Davidson. I'm the nursing admissions officer for Trent University. Joining me tonight to help answer some questions in the background here is Dr. Ellen Buck-McFadden. Ellen is the Associate Dean for the Trent Fleming School of Nursing. And also joining me this evening is Morgan McCall. Morgan is our nursing admissions assessor. So Ellen and Morgan will be answering questions that folks have throughout the presentation and after the presentation. For those of you that do have questions and want to ask them, I just ask that you pop them into the chat. So you'll be able to see that chat feature there, and we'll be able to then type your questions and ask them that way. Uh, so I would recommend going about asking those questions in that fashion. I don't believe with the webinar feature, we have the opportunity for students to be able to unmute themselves and ask questions. So I would just ask that you go through the chat feature to do so. And then after the presentation, we will also have time to ask questions. So if you want to ask them now or throughout the presentation, that's totally fine. Or if you want to hold off and ask them after the presentation, you can wait to do so then. Alrighty, so with that, let's get underway here. So looking at the alternate offers. So alternate offers. Alternate offers are Trent's opportunity to be able to provide students with a offer of admissions to the university, but to another program. So, for example, for students like yourself who have applied to the nursing program, you have been given this alternate offer to be able to still attend Trent in the fall, but into a non-nursing degree program. This still gives you that chance, like I had said, to be able to come to Trent and then be able to complete some academic upgrading and then reapply to the nursing program the following year. So that's sort of what the alternative offer is. If you go to trentu.ca/alternate offer, you'll be able to find out more information about that, as well as information that's pertaining to what you would need to take in the fall in order to upgrade and be able to then reapply to the nursing program the following year. We're also going to get into that in tonight's presentation, but those are some really great resources for you to be able to look into. So like I had already mentioned there just a little bit, kind of focusing in on what is an alternative offer. So simply put, an alternative offer is an offer to a program which you have not applied for. So there's usually three reasons for this. So three reasons as to why you got this alternate offer. Number one is you currently don't meet the competitive average for a capped or heightened admissions program. Either the competitive or the minimum average. So number two is you are missing a prerequisite from the program. So for example, for nursing, you may be missing a chemistry prerequisite or a math prerequisite or a biology prerequisite. And then finally, you don't meet the current minimum average needed for the nursing program. So there is not only a competitive average needed for admissions into the nursing program, but there is also a minimum admissions average, which is higher than the minimum average needed to enter the university and enter degree studies at the university. So number three is most likely the reason as to why you've been given that alternate offer. You currently don't meet the minimum admissions average needed for admissions consideration to Trent's nursing program. But those are typically the three reasons as to why we extend this offer of admissions, this alternate offer of admissions to Trent's nursing program. So The next question here is, and these are sort of questions that we get a lot from students, and we want to be able to get out front and to be able to answer those questions that students may have. So the next question there would be, how will I know if I've been given an alternate offer of admissions? So this is something that we get a lot. Sometimes there's some confusion around what offer students have gotten. What is this honor science offer? Is this nursing? Is this not nursing? Why have I been given this offer? Different things like that. So you'll know if you've been given an alternate offer of admissions because we'll be emailing out to students with this information. So most likely, if you're attending tonight's presentation, you've attended because you've been given this information. You've been given this alternate offer. So you most likely would have received an offer letter, which would have extended the offer of admissions to the honor science program, and you probably would have also been given then a secondary email, which would have explained that alternate offer in more detail. So the email communication is how you're going to know that you've been given this alternate offer. Also, if you have applied through OUAC or if you've applied directly to Trent through the direct application, you're also going to be able to find that information on there. So you'll actually see on OUAC or you'll see on your My Trent student portal a alternate offer. So it will mention that on your application on your OUAC portal or on your My Trent student portal. So there's sort of three ways then that you'd be able to see this information by email on OUAC, or if you apply directly to Trent on your My Trent student portal. So just be sure to check those places for that information so that you know exactly what offer you have received. So the next question here is something that we get a lot, and it's when is an alternate offer of admissions going to be given? So we do typically send out alternate offers on an ongoing basis, but typically we'll start to send out those alternate offers after the deadline, application deadline has passed. So our application deadline was on March the 3rd. So obviously that has passed. So that's why we have started to send out those alternate offers of admissions to the nursing program. So this is probably the most important question, or the most common question that we get is, why would I accept this alternate offer? What's sort of the purpose or the benefit of accepting this offer? It's not nursing, so why would I ever accept this offer? So it is important that you understand this so that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into if you do decide to accept this alternate offer. So number one, this is a opportunity for you to be able to take courses, improve your academic average, meet missing prerequisites, and reapply to the program, the nursing program, the next year, and have a more competitive chance of getting in. So that's really sort of the purpose behind this. We want to be able to give students that second chance to be able to apply to the nursing program. So we're not saying no, we're not shutting the door completely to nursing. We still want to give you that chance to be able to strengthen your application, complete the minimum requirements that are needed, have a more competitive average or competitive application, so that when you do reapply the next year, you are able to get in. So that's why we tell students that this is an offer for you to consider seriously, because there is a great chance of you then being able to get into the program the next year. What's also important about this alternate offer, and we're going to get into what courses you'll be taking in this alternate offer here in a little bit, but what's also important about this alternate offer is when you start to take these courses and upgrade, you are also taking courses that do meet degree requirements for the nursing program. So these courses that you'll be taking over this year of upgrading will meet nursing degree requirements. They won't be nursing courses per se. There'll be some of the non-nursing degree requirements that students need to take, like elective requirements and courses like human anatomy and physiology and psychology. So all of these courses that you'd be taking in this year of upgrading will count towards your Trent degree in nursing if you do get into that program. So that is also another benefit to accepting that alternate offer, is that you are in a way able to start that program in some sense, and start to work towards meeting the degree requirements for the program while doing this upgrading. So that is an important thing to understand. Now, on the flip side of that, this isn't necessarily a guaranteed pathway to getting into nursing. So I do want to be clear on that. With accepting the alternate offer, you are still required to have a competitive average to be competitive to getting into the nursing program. So it's not a matter of just taking these courses and meeting minimum requirements and you're guaranteed a spot in nursing. That's not how this alternate offer works. You still have to work hard. You still have to be competitive and get the average needed in order to then get into the program the following year. So that is something that I do want to make sure that folks are aware of if they are deciding to accept this offer. So now looking at applying to the nursing program as a Trent student. So breaking that down a little bit here. So if you are deciding to accept the alternate offer to Trent, and come into the university for this fall as an honor science student, you would then be reapplying to the nursing program as a Trent University undergraduate student. So that's sort of how your application would be considered if you were to reapply to the nursing program next year and accept the alternate offer for this year. In order to be then eligible for both the collaborative and the compressed streams, students must satisfy the following prerequisite requirements, which is biology, chemistry, English, and math. Now, for most of you, because you've already applied to the nursing program, you're probably familiar with all of the minimum requirements needed. You're probably familiar with the prerequisite requirements. So for the most part, you probably have these prerequisites already met, or most of them already met. Now, there may be some that you don't have met and that you do need to consider taking or retaking. But by and large, probably you do have some of those prerequisites already met. Now, to go over our prerequisite requirements, prerequisites can be met through secondary or post-secondary courses. So from the secondary level, they need to be completed at the grade 12 4U level with a minimum average of 70%. From college, you need to complete at least 2 semesters in a prerequisite subject with a minimum average of 65 for English, biology, or sorry, for biology, chemistry, and math, and a minimum average of 70% for English. Now, when it does come to college, if you are coming from a practical nursing program, you only need 1 semester in the prerequisite subjects from your practical nursing diploma program, completed with a minimum 65% average or a minimum 70 for English. So that is something that I do want to make sure folks are aware of. It's just 1 semester for PN students in those prerequisite subjects. And then for university students, you need to have your prerequisite subjects completed at a minimum average of 60% and at least 1 semester in those prerequisite subjects. Now, there may be a few of you out there that have done prerequisites at the high school and university level. There may be some that have only done a few at the high school level and the rest at the university level. That's totally fine. We can take a combination of your studies from the secondary and the post-secondary level to make sure that you have those prerequisites met. So don't feel that, if you've only done math at high school and then haven't done it since, that we can't use that math course. We can, that is possible. But just keeping in mind that there is that opportunity for us to be able to take a combination of courses when it comes to prerequisites. Just so long as, and this is going into the second point here, just so long as those courses have been completed within the last 10 years. And we're looking at the last 10 years from the time that you want to start the nursing program at Trent. So now, because we're now looking at starting not in fall of 2025, we're now looking at starting in the fall of 2026. You have to then look at that start date and work your way back for the last 10 years. So then realistically, that would be anything that you've completed in 2016 and onwards can be used to satisfy prerequisite requirements. Anything beyond 2016, we wouldn't be able to use for prerequisite requirements. So just kind of keep that in mind when you are looking at doing this upgrading and going through the alternate offer, that you aren't then going to have prerequisites that may become out of date. Now, the next point there is making sure that when you do come to Trent and start to register for courses, that you are choosing your courses carefully for a competitive admissions average. And I'm going to get into that a little bit here now. So the minimum average that a university applicant needs, which you would be if you do decide to accept this alternate offer and come to Trent and reapply to nursing next year, the minimum average that you would need is a 70%. For first year university students, so students that have never taken university courses before, so this would be their first time at university coming to Trent in the fall, you would need to complete a minimum 4 university credits, so 8 courses, 8 half-credit courses at Trent. University students who are coming to Trent and accepting this alternate offer, your admissions average would be based on your last 10 university credits completed, or the equivalent of your last 2 years of undergraduate studies. So let's say you're a student who has already finished a full degree and are coming in on this alternative offer to Trent. Your admissions average would be a combination of, courses that you've taken at your previous institution, as well as these new courses that you're taking at Trent. So we do take a combination of those two academic institutions and the courses that you've completed at them to determine your new admissions average if you were to reapply to the program for fall of 2026. So that's sort of how that admissions process works for university students. So when we're talking about what courses you should be taking, now there are a set of courses that you are going to most likely be required to take, but there's also other courses that are up to you to take. So what I mean by that is then you could really pick courses to strengthen your admissions average to get a more competitive admissions average based off of what you find that you would do well in. So if there's a certain subject area that you know that you would do well in, if there's a certain discipline that you know if you took a first year university course in that discipline that you would get good grades in, then that should be your priority because that's going to help you get the highest admissions average possible to then get into the nursing program for 2026. Now, in addition to the requirements listed on the previous slide, students must also complete the following courses in order to be eligible for the compressed program. So this would be kind of for both the collaborative and the compressed program. This slide here that we talked about for prerequisites and for the minimum university credits. If we're thinking about the compressed program, which probably most of you are thinking about taking, you probably want to try to get into the compressed program. Now, some of you probably have initially applied to just the collaborative program. Looking at then for 2026, the reason why you should be considering maybe looking at applying to the compressed program as well is number one, you would be eligible to apply to the compressed program for 2026 as a first year university student at Trent. And number two, the compressed program allows you to complete the nursing degree in 2.5 years. So that means that you're able to then earn the degree in a relatively short period of time, shorter than if you were to go into the collaborative program. The collaborative program is a 4-year degree. Now you can do it in 3 years now, but it is a longer time frame for you to complete the degree as opposed to taking the compressed program or going into the compressed program. So this is probably a stream of nursing that you want to consider if you are looking to reapply to the program for fall of 2026 and do decide to accept the alternate offer. So for first year university students, so coming to Trent, this would be your first year of university, you would be required to take the following courses. Biology 1500, which would be Human Anatomy and Physiology Part 1, Biology that should be 1501, Human Anatomy and Physiology 2. And then in addition to that, you would also be required to take Psych 1020 and 1030, which would be Intro to Psych 1 and 2. So if we look at those courses there, if we look at the two biology courses and the two psychology courses, so human anatomy, human physiology 1 and 2, psych 1 and 2, that would be then 4 out of the 8 courses then that you would need to take at Trent in order to then apply to the nursing program, the compress program, the following year. So if that's 4 out of your 8 courses that you would need to take as a first year university student, the other 4 courses then can be any course that you want them to be. That's where those kind of courses you would want to pick that you know that you would do well in would come into play. So you would have half of your requirement met through those 4 courses that are listed there. The other half are going to be courses that you want to take that you know that you're going to do well in. Is essentially how I typically explain course selection for students that do decide to accept this alternate offer. So that's something that you want to then consider moving forward if you do decide to accept that offer. Now, for eligibility after 2 or more years of university studies, so let's say you're coming from another university into Trent in this alternate offer, and you've done already a year of undergraduate studies, or maybe 2 years, or maybe a full degree, you would be in this next category, which would be 2 or more years of university studies. So in addition to what was on the previous slide, you'd also be expected to have either Psych 1020 and 1030, or at least 1 full credit at the 3rd or 4th year level. So if you don't have Psych 1020 and 1030, but you do have upper year university courses, or want to take upper year university courses while in your time at Trent, you could do that. And that would be the requirements that you would need to have for the compress program. Now, a minimum average of 60% is required for the biology and psychology courses listed above. So you would need to complete those courses each with a minimum average of 60%. Now, when it comes to actually then applying to the nursing program for fall of 2026, applications to the BSCN program are going to open in October, most likely September, but sometimes we do hold off and open that up in October for intake for the following September. So if you're then coming to Trent in the fall and are looking to reapply to the nursing program for 2026, you would be able to apply as early as September or October of this year. Now, that application is something that you would find on your MyTrent student portal. So that application would be titled Transfer to Nursing. That's what it's called. And you would be able to find that on your MyTrent portal under the Academics tab. So once that becomes available to you in the fall, you would be able to submit that application, and then you would have your application for fall of 2026 to the nursing program. And when you do fill out that transfer to nursing form, you are able to select both streams. So you are able to apply to both the collaborative and the compressed program. So it's not like you're just limited to one, you can apply to both. Now, one thing that I do like to tell students is there are individuals at the university that can help you with getting ready to plan your degree and can help you with getting ready to register for courses. Now, what we've already talked about, that's sort of step 1 or stage 1 in sort of starting to understand what courses you do need to take at Trent if you decide to go ahead with this alternate offer. The next step is to start to learn how one would register for courses, how that system works, and there are lots of resources that are out there. There would be a live stream similar to this one that's all devoted to course registration. It's either already happened or will be happening shortly, probably within the next few weeks or within the next month. And there's also individuals at the university that can help you with this. So they're called academic advisors. They're located in all of the colleges at Trent. So each of our colleges has a few academic advisors that can help students with getting ready to register for courses and plan out their their first year at Trent. So I do encourage you to, you know, connect with them if you really need to. At least go on to their website, so trentu.ca/advising, and start to learn about how you go about registering for courses and what that process looks like. So academic advising can really help with clarifying and deciding what courses to take, what your academic goals are. So, if your academic goal right now is to get into nursing, they can help you with that and clarify that. They can help with understanding academic regulations, connect you with other services on campus. So not just with the services that are in the college system, but also with the services that are elsewhere at the university, and allow you to really, take charge of your education. So those are some really big benefits of connecting with an academic advisor. So I would encourage you to look into doing that over the next few months, and especially as we get closer to June, which is when you would be able to start to register for courses. They're certainly helpful with helping you plan out those next few months when it comes to course registration. Also, individuals like myself and in admissions can also help you with those questions that you may have about course registration, especially as it pertains to gaining then admissions into the nursing program. So we can help out with that too. And this is something that I do like to bring up to students, which is sort of having some accountability for the decisions that you are going to be making over the next year and the bit. So it is the responsibility for your education and your decisions. That responsibility does lie with you. So it's the responsibility of all students to familiarize themselves with specific requirements for degrees that they are willing to or wanting to seek, as well as the admission requirements to get into those degrees. While advice and counseling are readily available at the university, it is the student's responsibility to ensure that the courses in which they register for will fulfill degree requirements and program requirements. This does extend to admission requirements for programs like nursing. And that's something that's pulled right out of Trent's academic calendar. So this is something that we ensure that all students hold themselves to, is this, standard in which you are making these informed decisions and advocating for yourself and ensuring that you are educating yourself about the requirements that are needed to get into the programs that you want, and also to earn the degrees that you want as well. So just making sure that you are doing that proper education for your next year or so, or even further beyond, getting into nursing for the next 4 years perhaps. Now, if you are adamant on connecting with an academic advisor and wanting to book an academic advising appointment, they do same-day appointments. The telephone number is listed right there. That's the extension. You can also visit the college office in person. So if you are local to the area, if you're already in Peterborough and wanted to go in person, that is something that you can do as well. You can also pre-book online through the student experience portal, though you probably won't have access to that until you've accepted an offer of admissions to Trent. So that's something that you would have a little bit later on in the academic cycle, or at least after you've accepted that offer of admissions. All appointments are 30 minutes, and they're offered in person, over the phone, or by video chat. You can also look to book an appointment with myself as well. So if you do have more admissions related questions or wanted to learn a little bit more about your offer of admissions, I also do appointments as well, either in person, over the phone, or online. If you are ever interested in booking an appointment with me, I would ask that you email nursingadmissions@trentu.ca. So that's a great way to get in touch with myself, as well as with Morgan, if you do have any questions about your offer to Trent, what that entails, what you would need to do as far as academic upgrading is concerned. And if you did want to meet with myself one-on-one to go over all of this, that's a really great way to get connected with us. So that's about all I have for tonight's presentation. So if folks do have questions, I'm going to open the floor up now for those questions. So just feel free to pop those questions in the chat right now. I don't see that we have any questions um, that have come through throughout the presentation, so that's great. Must meant that I had a very thorough presentation and I've been able to answer everybody's questions, so that's always great to see. But I would encourage folks that are here tuning in, now's the time to ask questions. You've got three Trent representatives right in front of you who are taking time out of their evening to be here to hopefully answer questions that you have. So if you do have them, feel free to pop them in the chat now.
So we did end up getting one question during. It's in the Q&A, not in the chat. So I'll just
Okay,
briefly
perfect.
speak to it. Essentially, one person said that they have a practical nursing diploma. They've been granted 3 transfer credits, and they just wanted to ask about if they contribute to their competitive average and if they contribute to the number of courses that they need to take at Trent if they accept their alternative offer. I did answer it in the chat, but I can just answer it verbally as well for if anyone, that's helpful.
Yeah, that would be great if you want to answer that verbally, Morgan. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So essentially, transfer credits don't have like an associated grade when you get them. So they're not going to count towards your competitive average whenever you kind of restart at Trent. So you're still going to need to take the 4 credits and you're still going to need to like bump up your average. Your nursing diploma average isn't going to count towards your next admission cycle. So the transfer credits will help in terms of if you get into the nursing program for the following year, now you'll have a few credits under your belt that will help decrease your class load.
Perfect. Thanks, Morgan. Yeah, that was one thing that we didn't touch upon was transfer credits, and Morgan did provide a lot of really great information about that, which is great. But yeah, to summarize all of that, basically those transfer credits will certainly help towards meeting degree requirements for nursing, and can certainly help towards meeting some of the specific course requirements that we ask students to take in that sort of upgrading year. So if we kind of flip back to these courses here. So biology 1500 and 1501 and psych 1020 and 1030. If you are getting those courses as transfer credits, then you won't have to worry about taking them as a part of your upgrading at Trent in the alternate offer. Now, I do want to be clear though that if you do get those as transfer credits, and let's say you're coming from college, let's say if you're coming from a practical nursing program like the student had mentioned, and you are getting those courses as transfer credits, the 2 biology and the 2 psychology courses, you are still going to be required to meet that 4 credit minimum requirement. So even though you have gotten these courses as transfer credits, they still don't count towards that 4 credit requirement. So you would need to pick up additional courses to make sure that you have that requirement met. I did see that Caroline had her hand raised. So if you wanted to hear Caroline, I can see if I can unmute you and you may be able to ask your question. Yeah, so go ahead there. I think you are just muted, so you might need to unmute yourself there, Caroline. Caroline, if you'd prefer to ask your question by typing it out, feel free to pop that into the Q&A there. You'd be more than welcome to do so there, okay? Okay, maybe Caroline, give her maybe just a few more moments there to see if she'll be able to ask the question.
It looks like she doesn't have a question there.
Okay.
Back from the chat box, but Ella Pitt does. do you want me to
Okay.
repeat or can you see it there?
Okay, perfect. Yes, no, I do see it there. So Ella does have a question, just in regards to, would I still be able to graduate in 4 years if I were to accept this offer, or would my second year just end up being like my first year of actual nursing and graduate in 5 years, if that makes sense? No, that's a great question. And I'm happy to answer that one. So it does depend, Ella, it does depend on which program you do end up applying to and getting accepted into. So let's say in this scenario, you accept the alternate offer and you come to Trent for a year and then apply to nursing to start in 2026. You have the option of applying to both of our nursing streams. So you have the option of applying to the 4-year nursing stream as well as the 28-month compressed nursing stream. So with the compressed nursing stream, that allows you to earn the BSCN degree in 2.5 years. So really, if you add that 2.5 years to the 1 year that you'd be taking in your year of upgrading, you're really then spending about 3.5 years total at Trent before being able to earn that BSCN degree. So really, it kind of keeps you on track and allows you to earn the BSCN degree in relatively the same amount of time if you were to start the collaborative program this year in the fall. So in a sense, yes, you would be able to earn the degree in the same amount of time. Now, if you prefer to, let's say, go into the collaborative program instead of the compressed program, then you may be in the position where you are taking a little bit more time before ending up with that degree.
I can add something as well, Zach. I was just going to say because we have the compressed program, it means that we offer courses throughout the summers for those students who are going, all year round. So even in the collaborative 4-year program, sometimes you can speed things up a little bit by taking an extra course or two during the summer semester. And alternatively, if you need to repeat a course or something, you have that flexibility as well.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a great point to add there. Okay. So I'm just looking here. No problem, Ella. Glad that we were able to get that cleared up. So I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat here. So I think if there are no more, just giving folks the last second there to be able to pop them in. There we go. So Isabella, I'm coming from a Fleming college. Would the transfer credit still apply if I was accepted into the compressed program? If that makes sense. Yes, so your transfer credits are still going to be accepted, even if you do get accepted into the compressed program. So they would still count towards your degree requirements for the nursing program. So let's say like you got some second year transfer credits or some first year transfer credits. They could count towards like the elective requirements for the nursing degree. And so, yes, they can still count towards degree requirements for both the collaborative and the compressed program. No problem. Any other questions that folks have? Alrighty, well, seeing no other questions come through, I think we'll take that opportunity to conclude tonight's live stream. So I just want to thank everyone for being able to attend tonight. To my panelists, thank you so much for being able to take the time out of your evening to be here. I do really appreciate that. If folks do have any questions in the future and want to reach out, nursing admissions at trentu.ca is a great place to start. If you have any program related questions to the nursing program, nursing at trentu.ca is also a really great resource. So feel free to reach out. We're always happy to be able to answer questions and talk with students. Like I had said too, you can also book an appointment with myself and meet with me one-on-one if you did want to go over your alternate offer and what steps you need to take to prepare yourself for the fall. Okay, thanks so much, everyone, and have a great evening. Take care. Bye now.